ladies and gentlemen, Sir Alan Sugar.
Thank you.
Now, Sir Alan, The Apprentice has put business on prime-time television. Were you surprised by the success of The Apprentice?
Yeah, well, yes and no, because you had, I saw it in America, first of all.
So it's Donald Trump.
And the American format, which is a bit different to ours, but is actually owned by the Englishman that lives in America, this Mark Burnett. And I saw the format there, and then was asked to do it here. Business programs in England have been pretty stuffy in the past. You've had, you know, Sir John, what's his face? I can't remember his name. And he used to follow someone around for a week or so.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very kind of narrow, targeted audience with people that were specifically interested in business would follow it. And so they've never really taken off. And this was an opportunity, I thought, of actually presenting some business tasks to people, which, and there was an air of entertainment about it also, but nevertheless an underlying theme of the message that we were trying to get across to encourage entrepreneurial spirit and all that stuff. So yeah, and it's turned out to be very, very successful. And I thought it would be. I thought it would be successful. I didn't know it would be, you know, as successful as it's turned out. It's on BBC Two after all, and.
But you get more viewers than Ricky Gervais and extras.
We got more viewers than anybody last night, actually. Yeah, yeah. We actually apparently they're jumping up and down, very excited about it. But we got 5.3 million viewers last night, as opposed to one of the other channels, BBC. I don't know what it was, 4 million and something.
Can you tell us who's going to win?
Yes, it's the Greek fellow.
Put your question directly to Sir Alan on any business question you have. So, hands up if you want to ask a question.
I just have having a question about The Apprentice, and I wondered how much pressure you're under from the producers of the show to make certain decisions about candidates, you know, whether there's a pressure to be politically correct or keep certain personalities in because they make good TV viewing.
It's an excellent question, and there isn't any, really. It is genuine. What you see is what you get, and it was an absolute requisite of mine at the very beginning that you know I have the final say on who stays and who goes. Having said that, I would be you know misleading if I was to say that there were some characters that you would see at the very early stages that never had a hope in hell, right? But nevertheless made the thing a little bit more entertaining. But I, rather than putting a stake in the ground and saying, you know, by the 5th or 6th or 7th episode, whatever, we'd cleared the dross out, so to speak. But no, they don't have any say whatsoever, and there's no political correctness at all. I can assure you of that.
They're not actually the cream of young entrepreneurial talent, are they?
I didn't choose this role, and that's part of the mystique of the programme, is that they see me virtually for the first time you see them, you know.
All right.
But yeah, realistically, that's what happens. They come into that boardroom on the first day. I think that if there's going to be a third series, there will need to be some input, let's put it this way, into the selection next time round. Yeah.
Okay. There's a question in the second row.
Yes, this gentleman.
Sorry, going back to The Apprentice. Hello, Sir Alan.
Yeah.
Do you think you've actually learnt anything from the programmes that you've done?
Well, I know there's 5 million cats in London. Which is like, you know, really earth-shattering, isn't it, information, really. Have I learned anything from the programme? Not really, in the sense that I've only learnt about the way television works. And
you presented towards your the people that you gave them to. You know,
I'm sorry?
the tasks that you gave them, was it your tasks?
Oh yes, they were the tasks that I gave them were tasks, you know, endorsed by me. But I think your question was, have I learned anything? And And the answer to that is I've learnt a lot the way television companies work and things like that. As far as business is concerned, I haven't learnt anything new or seen anything new. I've perhaps been a bit disappointed in recognising that people that have these academic qualifications are not all what they are cracked up to be. And what worries me a little bit, I remember when I was confronted with doing things like A-levels, that they were tough examinations to pass, and I'm going back 1963, 64, something like that. Questions were asked and you had to write the answers. You wasn't given a kind of like a brain-dead, pick one of the three, and you kind of flip a coin and you pick number 3. There was actual questions asked that you had to write the answer to. I think that the process of qualification these days is far too it's been made too easy, and I think that they should crank up the questions again, if you like, and that will flush out the real good people. It doesn't mean that the middle level are no good, but it will certainly flush out the good people, because one of the contestants on The Apprentice who couldn't count was a Cambridge graduate with a PhD in rocket science or something like that, or whatever, and literally couldn't count with a 2 point something or other pass, whatever it was. I don't know what that means, but whatever it was, that's what the person had. And that's the kind of wake-up call, really, that surprised me about The Apprentice, is that the modern-day youngsters get these qualifications, which in my day, you would look at someone with 3 passes of A-level, A grade, and I knew what that meant. I think these days, 3 passes, grade A's of A-levels, is a bit like the highway code, if you ask me.
Well, if you pay less regard to academic qualifications on a CV, what sort of things do you look for on a CV?
Well, I think the thing is about, I go around talking to a lot of youngsters in schools and at universities, and I think we have to, I think the thing is that you need to get across the table in front of me to get my attention, okay? And that's where you're going to sell yourself, really. The trouble is, to get in front of me across the table, you've gone to a human resource manager, first of all, who's got a pile of paper, and they look at this pile of paper and they go, dustbin, okay, dustbin, okay, dustbin, okay. And the okay criteria is 3 A-levels and so many of that and so many of this, right? And the dustbin is that 2 GCSEs in needlework, no good. But that person may be very, very good. You don't know. And unfortunately, what I tell these youngsters at school, whether they like it or not, is that I just play out that scenario.
Yeah.
I just play it out to them and say, that's what happens. That is the cruel, real world. So, like it or not,
there's a lottery there. Yeah.
You need to get yourself some qualification just to get in front of the desk. Yeah.